My atheist and deconstructionist friends oppose God, call God evil, because in some cases God has instructed the Israelites to wipe out everyone, men, women, and children, in some of the nations that they were to conquer. When God commands something, he always has a reason. And I could explain a reason, but to avoid the ad hominem, I will just let Chuck Missler explain it to you. Missler tells us that modern seminaries do not teach this about the Nephilim mentioned in Genesis 6. My dad was a pastor, and he did teach this. So this is not a new theory to me. This explanation by Missler I have reduced significantly to about 7 minutes because I know the attention span of my audience. And even then I'm going to post this in 2 parts. Here is part 1.
And we turned and went up the way to Bashan, and Og the king of Bashan came out against us, he and all his people, to battle at Edrei. And we utterly destroyed them as we did unto Sihon the king of Heshbon, utterly destroying the men, the women, the children of every city. Now, I suppose you're disturbed with verse 6 that they destroyed the men, the women, and the children. And if that doesn't offend you, you weren't listening carefully. That's genocide. Why on earth were they doing that? It's important for us to understand this because there's some strange background we're going to come to. And only Og, the king of Bashan, remained of the remnant of the giants. Now we're beginning to understand the problem here. We have to echo back a little bit and talk about Genesis chapter 6. It came to pass when men began to multiply on the face of the earth and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men that they were fair, and took them wives of which they chose, all of which they chose. The term sons of God, Benaiah Elohim in the Hebrew, is a technical term we'll come back to. And it's translated sons of God in the English, and that's what it really means, the sons of God, but it's a term used in the scripture to refer to a direct creation of God. Adam was a direct creation of God. You and I are not in the natural. We are sons of Adam. Unless we're born again, then he gives us the power to become the sons of God. And the term is, in the Old Testament, used exclusively of angels. They saw the daughters of men, not the daughters of Seth or any particular. They were daughters of men in general. And Benai Adam, actually. The daughters of Adam is what it really says. Then verse 4 of that same chapter says, there were Nephilim in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in and the daughters of men, and they bare children unto them, the same became the mighty men, the Hagibarim, if you will, which were of old, men of renown. Now, it's these Nephilim. Satan's strategy here was to create hybrids, and that's why God brought the flood, was to deal with this issue. The word Nephilim comes from the verb nephal. It means the fallen ones. These were hybrids, half human, half something else. And so the word in the Hebrew means the fallen ones, from nephal, to fall away or desert. And they also were called the Hagibarim, the mighty ones. And every major culture on the planet Earth, all the ancient cultures, have legends of these same things occurring. In the Septuagint Greek of this passage, the word is gigantes, from which the translators call them giants. They were giants, but that's not what the word gigantes means. It comes from gigas, which means earthborn. Now this view that I'm sharing with you is what's called the angel view of Genesis 6. It's the view the ancient rabbis held. It's the view of the early church up until about the 5th century. It is not taught in seminaries today because it makes many people uncomfortable. They teach a concept that these were just referring to the lines of Seth. Seth were the good guys, Cain were the bad guys, and they intermarried and they weren't supposed to. All of that is you can shred from Scripture. There's about 12 refutations of that, and yet that's what's commonly taught.